Good morning, YouTube fans. Here we are gardening with Vincenzo, Zone 6A, Middlesex Township, Valencia, PA. And I just wanted to do a walk and talk this morning. We had some rain early this morning, and things always look so nice after a rain. I'm starting on my porch, and I wanted to share a story here this morning. I'm sitting on the porch having my coffee. It's pretty early. I had already gone down and rearranged in my greenhouse, and I'm sitting on the porch right here in my chair like I do most mornings when you're able to, except for the winter time, and even then sometimes. And I'm having my coffee and I'm watching the hummingbirds. They come early in the morning and they like to get the dew off the plants that are hanging. I have a lot of hanging baskets, and so I'm watching them, and then I see a pair of house wrens. You know, they're bouncing around on the porch. They're always looking for bugs and spider eggs and that kind of thing. And as I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, you know, I'm watching them bounce around thinking, you know, it's a good thing that the house wrens are here. They eat, you know, the bugs from the fruit trees, and, you know, they don't let them get into the flower pots and all that. So as I'm sitting there, and there's two of them, you know, I guess it's a mated pair, and you know, they're communicating. They have a little chitter going back and forth, and I thought, yeah, here they are. They don't drink coffee, but they're up early trying to find some bugs. And one comes over, you know, closer and closer to me, and I'm sitting there just watching it, you know, because they have no fear of me. They know that I feed them, and I won't cause them any harm. You know, I'm very bird-oriented, you know, animal-oriented. And it comes over and it lands on my arm. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and it's looking right at me. And I said, hello there, good morning. And for about, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it was just sitting there, you know, bouncing up and down on my arm, you know, as I'm sitting there talking to it and telling it good morning. Anyway, that kind of made my day. That's the first time that's ever happened. So back to my walk and talk. So we've had a nice rain here. I've wrapped up pretty much everything here. I've even trimmed up the petite yellow marigolds and to make them neat again, because they were looking a little scraggly, so I had to cut some things off. And I've pulled all my stuff up from the picnic table farming and gathered cages and, you know, that type of thing. I only have some peppers left and some Asian purple eggplants, but I'm just gonna walk down here, and you know, the rain makes everything look so nice, and so I'm just gonna walk along my trellis garden, which I only have a couple of peppers left. I think I have 4 of them up here. And I'm so surprised that these marigolds, they're supposed to be French petite, but some of them have gotten enormous. And, you know, I've made a nice row here, and you can see the in-between. I have the perennials, which is the dwarf Sweet Williams. And, you know, I still have some peppers on here. These are supposed to be red Marconis. They're starting to turn red. And you know, some of these marigolds have gotten so big that they're actually just falling down, you know. But it's a nice row there going up along the trellis, which I also have revamped, one of my many projects. And over here in some of my previous videos, you probably noted that there was no grass, so I put some grass in here. And in one of my previous videos, I showed the atrocious hillside here, which I completely redid that. And now I've started to do some planting with some perennials. We have some rhodies, and we have some flowers all along here. And I've pulled up all my pots that were in the walkway because I had to work on the greenhouse. I had to recover that. And I just wanted to show that as I'm walking along here with my walk and talk of the nice planting that I have here. Nice and color coordinated, got some rocks in there. These are all perennials, different colors, different shades. So I'm always happy to convert this back to how nice that it was. And it's starting to look pretty good. I still have some more plants to put in here, but the row of pots is quite a bit. I'm walking in the row where I used to have the pots for growing, and I'm going to walk over here. We already did up the potato bins, and I've cleaned out the larger of the two gardens that I have, traditional gardens. And now I'm down here and I've cleared this one out as well. I have a new shed coming, and I've moved some things, left the shovel out, but I'll need him later. I have a new shed coming, and so I'm trying to prepare the area for that. And I also, down here past the chicken coops, I've made a dent in my orchard here. I have a little bit more work to do down here. Some weed whacking and some more landscaping fabric to keep the weeds down. But I started a new project down here as well. And what I've done is I moved my protected cage over here to my bottom garden, and I've laid it out with the landscaping timbers. I painted it yesterday, and I guess it didn't dry because I can see some wood showing through. I'll have to hit that later when the sun comes out a little bit later. And what I intend to do is make two boxes of the larger here. I don't know whether you can see that. Let me pan up. There's going to be a walkway up at the top. I'll go over and do a side view. It'll look better that way. There's some more of my peppers and some of the purple Asian eggplants, the purples. Well, you can see them. Something's been down here munching on them, but they're nice and skinny, and I got a couple of them in there. So anyway, that'll be the walkway off on the right. The big box that's there that has the wood laying in it, that's going to be an actual grow box. And then along the bottom here, the longer of the boxes is going to be a flower bed. The short one here that's in the middle is going to be so I can step into my protected cage here, and that's on hinges so that I can actually open the front of that. In back of that will be the walkway that I can actually get in there to my boxes. This will be another flower bed here right below me, right here. I have to finish landscaping fabric that, then there'll be the box, then there'll be the part of the walkway so that I can get in there to the grow boxes. So, starting to make some headway cleaning things up. It's important to clean things up. You know, even before we go into the fall, I was in here weeding my strawberry beds out. I'll do some replanting of those strawberries there. I'm going to put some on the hillside where I just did the planting, and I'll let them take over a little part of the hillside there, and we have more of them growing out here. You know, when you put strawberries in and you put the quinolts and the everbearings, they just put the runners off, and you know, they love the mulch, you know, because they'll root real easy. So over here I have all my trees, baby trees of different varieties that are in pots, and I think at the bottom here I'm going to put a wooden lattice kind of work thing, a little heavier than lattice, and I'll paint that up, and I'm going to set them down there because I want that space free. And I've come in here and stripped everything out of my other gardens that are here, and I'm working in the greenhouse. On the greenhouse, I recovered it, and here's some of my red Marconis here of the peppers, and we'll start to harvest them. I see one fell off here. Get him out of there. But anyway, back to my original point of it's important to clean things up. You know, you clean things up, you pick up the dead fruit and you dispose of it, or else you're going to have nothing but bugs for the next season. And it's important that you do that. And what I'll do is, if anything gets buggy looking, what I will do is I will, clean it up. I try to pull out the weeds and weed everything. This year I put some strapping, some Gorilla Tape on the side of the greenhouse, but I left the top intact even though I cut out for the windows. I was a little bit nervous about that because of how windy it had gotten here at some points. And so I've started to set up inside here for next year's growing. And it's funny because here's my strawberries. They're starting to produce again, and I still have some beets that are in a pot that I put, and I also have some of these dwarf Indian moringa trees that I have in here, and I have a bonsai apple in here, and I have some carrots, and I've started to set up the pots and everything for next year. I was in here cleaning early this morning since it was raining. So when it rains, I do other things. So we're starting to get things organized, clean everything up, stack the tomato cages. There is my Utah tall celery, which is about doubled in height. I did a video on the way to cleanly blanch those, and again I'll point out the 8-inch long, 4-inch outside diameter piping that slides right over top of the celery, and I left them in here because I wanted to make sure that there was no bugs getting all over it. So we're moving along and we're wrapping it up. And by the way, another interesting tale aside from the wren and the hummingbird is the chipmunk got into my greenhouse, and I'm looking through the window right now, and what he did was he pulled up a couple of the seeds from the dwarf Indian moringa that I got from Baker's Seed, and I think he planted 2 of them in a pot out here, because when I was cleaning things up, going along the side here, I happened to notice, boy, these look an awful lot like the moringas. So there's 2 of them in there. I'll have to separate them out, and we'll see what happens with those. I'll add them to my pot collection of trees. I'll put them inside the house. We're going to be looking for homes for these Indian dwarfs. I have a few people in mind. Howard, when you get a chance, if you're interested in a Indian dwarf moringa, they call it the immortality plant. If you like house plants, I'd be very willing to let you have one of these. Diane, who is the administrator for the Middlesex Township page, same thing for you, hon. And I wanted to give a couple shout outs here too. Brenda, I haven't spoken to you for a while since you retired. I miss our conversations, and I hope that you set up your gardening centers, quadrants, growing quadrants. We had discussed many things before your retirement. I hope that they all came to fruition for you. And a shout out to Steven down here in sunny California, and a shout out to CJ's Keto Kitchen, lovely Sarah, CJ the taste tester, envious job, gets to taste all the good stuff. And so I'm out here, it's early in the morning yet, we're supposed to clear up. I still have quite a bit to do here yet. Some of it involves painting, some of it involves putting down landscaping fabric, some of it involves growing still. I've gotten and used most of my bags, my reserve bags of the mulch. I have a few in my greenhouse, and I may end up moving a few things around while I still can. And we've got some trimming to do and those types of things. I have some things up here to plant. I have them on my wall here. I have 2 grapevines. I gotta find a place for those. I'm set up for painting in the driveway. Some of my wood got wet that I left out. That's a shame. That's where my pots are gonna go. I'm gonna kind of make that into like a pallet type thing and prop it up level and put it down there along the bottom where my new growing station will be down there. And anyway, I thought that folks may enjoy my walk and talk here early this morning. I had to share the wren story. That was really something as I come up here where my blueberries are. And also, I wish I would have had my camera. I'm sitting on the porch, this was a couple days ago, and I'm watching a chipmunk climb this apple tree. All the apples were around the periphery. There's a couple teeny ones left, but there's some big ones there. You got a couple left. And I'm watching him, and he climbs the tree and he pulls one down, and he eats like half of it, but it's still too big for him. So what he's doing is he's trying to carry it up the steps. And so he brings it up the step and he rests a moment because I guess it was heavy for him, and it falls and it's rolling down the steps. So he comes back down the steps, grabs it, tries again. And I just wish I would have had my camera set up because it was very amusing to watch him, because he was determined to get up the steps with that apple. And it was, like I said, it was a bigger apple. So you never know what you're going to see out here. I love coming out early in the morning. You see the animals, and you never know what they're going to do. You just never know. People think that they don't have their own personalities, but they do. And now I'm backing in here along the secret garden entrance. Back to the porch. Yep, this is what I see in the morning when I'm looking out. I got my grill right on the porch. I grill even when it rains sometimes, cooking some stuff. And I get a nice view with all the flowers and the plants. And I'll do a slow pan here. So in the morning, this is where I come to sit down right here in this chair and drink my coffee. Cushion fell down, but we'll put him up there. So anyway, there's my walk and talk, and I hope that you enjoyed that. Alright, this is Gardening with Vincenzo. Remember, we can save this planet 1 yard at a time, beginning with your own. Grow as a person, plant a garden. And you are what you eat, and it doesn't get any fresher than fresh picked. Alright, be safe out there, folks. It's turning into a wild world. We need to calm down. Alright, good spending some time with you. Again, like and subscribe. Visit my Facebook page, Gardening with Vincenzo. I have a website, GoDaddy, gardeningwithvincenzo.com. Alright, y'all have a good one here. Bye now.